by the way.
Oh, that's okay. Good Monday morning, everyone. It is just us today for Author Talk. So you guys know me, Amy, here with Bird and Russell, and we hope everybody had a fantastic Easter of everybody that celebrates it. So, Bird, Russell, what did you guys do for Easter?
Let me plug this in. I'm sorry I wasn't ready.
Uh-oh. Did we lose audio for you, Russell?
Yeah. Russell! We can't hear you.
Now you
We
can.
see you talking, but we can't hear you.
Okay, well, that's bad. I'm sorry, people. I spent the weekend doing Ferd's worst nightmare. Hello, Ashley.
What is
around campfires? I hiked mountains. I got lost in the woods on Friday. I actually scared myself briefly about being able to find my way back. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. I love it. Fern, what did you do?
I took my brother took my dad to get his first shot of vaccine, and I took my mom on Sunday. So they both have their first shot, and I got beautiful Easter basket of flowers.
Oh, that's pretty with the Easter eggs. That's cute.
Isn't it cute? I got 2 of them because
did Amy get Easter flowers?
No, I did not. No.
Did the bunny come see babies?
They did. Yes. They loved it.
Did y'all do the whole Easter egg hunting thing with the little ones?
Well, so we did. Well, Sky sat just in the backyard and Meadow went and hunt the eggs. And then when her basket got full, she went and got Sky's basket and filled Sky's up. Because there was I think I had 65 eggs. And they had jelly beans and stuff in it. So it was just we're going to go big or go home. So we're going to do all of the eggs. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. She had so much fun just finding them. And you can really tell the attention span of a child because they would be lined up on the fence. And she would skip every other one because I don't know why. They were lined up she couldn't. It was just great. I was having the greatest time laughing at my child.
I got to tell you, I miss that so much.
It's fun. I
really. When my kids were about 5 and 6 and 8, my wife used to get everyone dressed up, and everyone got new dresses and new little bitty suits. And I remember when my daughter was about 7 or 8, she had on a new Easter dress, and we went to church. She just thought you could see her floating around. She thought she was so beautiful, and she was. And then we went to Chili's for lunch, and her 5-year-old brother knocked a bucket of tea on her lap.
Oh my God!
And it's a legend in the family. We still talk about it. And she was just. She couldn't even respond. She was so it was
poor baby.
I know, bless her heart. She's so proud of that dress, and then her brother's got to go and ruin it. So this is why I don't have brothers. This is why. It's
a great legend in the family.
I love that. That's just so cute. I know I'm gonna have stories like that of I don't know, because my kids do that now. So Sky kind of they have very different personalities. For as close as they are, they're very different, right? Meadow's super extrovert, adventurous, my risk taker. Okay, this girl will jump off the playground. Okay, and then Sky, she's got to warm up to you before you get her personality, which is kind of how I am, But with Meadow, if Meadow's not bullying her, but kind of being a big sister and taking her toys, Sky lets it go for a little bit, and then Sky's had enough, and she throws herself on her. It's the greatest thing in the whole wide world. I love it. I get her. It's so great to watch it. It's just I love it.
So I have a question for the two of you, and that is, I've had 3 different authors talk to me lately about this to get advice about it. It was about how what they should be doing as speaker/authors now. Or one has asked me, how does she get started being a speaker/author? They got the books, but she wants to be a speaker author. So both of you have had lots of experience, and I know, Amy, you have lots of podcasts. that about this in the past. What do you two think?
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I was going to say start a podcast.
Well, one of the things I was going to say is you need to hook up with Amy. If you're an author and you want speaking engagements and opportunities, you need to hook up with Amy because she has this awesome, group that she helps, and she does, that's what she does for a living. She helps authors hook up on. She's hooked me up on podcasts and stuff. But I would also say that one of the things that as an author you should definitely do up front is to really refine your presentations. Like, what are you good at and what do you want to teach on, because of course the author's journey, the general, how you began and how you got published and that kind of stuff is one of the sessions that you wanted to be able to talk about, because there's always groups that are interested in hearing how you got to where you are now as a published author. But also, what are your areas of strength that you can teach on, that you might be able to offer assistance to other authors, and look at it that way, like that you're presenting information that will help other authors, and so that you can connect. And so I would say, first of all, just think about what would you present on, right? And refine your message before you start putting it out there. I don't know, Amy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I would definitely do that. And I think, to make yourself more comfortable, Russell, if they haven't spoken or anything like that before, and they're new to being an author and just speaking to sell books and all that, to get on some podcasts, because, COVID podcasts they're real big anyways, but now they're super popular and they're kind of fairly easy to get on. And so I would do that to kind of narrow down your niche of what you're going to speak about, because you can always tie your book into anything you speak about. Whether you write fantasy, travel writing, whatever, you can always segue that into what you're talking about. So I would get on different podcasts looking for authors in any kind of genre and just get comfortable speaking. And then when, not everybody's doing in-person events, but when they do that, then you already kind of know what you want to talk about. It's already refined. You've already kind of polished it and you've become better at selling it. So you have to kind of work it that way, but you need experience to do that. So podcasts are kind of the best avenue to do. But I know Vern can tell you more about this. I haven't been on a panel at Comic-Con, but hey, it's not out of my realm. One day I'm going to get there. Okay. One day I'll be on a panel. But I would say like fantasy, even travel writing or romance, like the comic paloozas and Comic-Cons and stuff. Those are great places for you to sell books, but to interact with other readers and kind of fill out that environment, that venue and things like that. But getting on a panel there would also be kind of a good segue into your speaking, because you're giving awareness towards who you are as an author, as a person, what you write about, your writing style. Because I know not everybody knows everybody. Not everybody knows me, not everybody knows Russell, not everybody knows Fern, right? It's just our not groupies, but our circle of people, and we expand it on every time, that know who we are because we get out there in front of new groups to know who we are, know what we talk about, know what we do for a living, what we write. So it's kind of the same avenue. So maybe a Comic-Con isn't the perfect venue for you, but you don't actually know that until you go. So
well, I can tell you about, trying to think about Comic-Cons as only for certain authors or certain genres, because I got to tell you that I have had success selling memoirs, poetry books, children's books. I mean, I have sold pretty much every type of book at Comic Palooza and other Comic-Cons. Readers go there. And yes, the audience is pop culture and the audience is fandoms of different groups and stuff.
But the audience is also really smart people. A big crowd. These are smart people because they're nerds.
They are. They're nerds.
And I'm a nerd too. So that's
embrace the nerd. Embrace it.
Because I'm one of them. I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, they're readers and often they read widely. they don't just read, like, I don't just read science fiction and fantasy. I read mysteries. I read all kinds of books. And, you know, and often also these people drag other people with them, you know, like the unfortunate, you know, significant other who gets dragged in. And they sometimes read other things, you know, they read memoirs or they read poetry or they read other stuff. And so, you know, you're also selling for them. And these people also tend to be book gifters. They gift books to people, which, you know, I think it's the greatest gift you can give to people is a book. And so many times they're not just shopping for them. They're also shopping for a friend. They're thinking, oh, I can give this for someone's birthday or whatever. So you can really gift, you can really sell pretty much any type of book at a Comic-Con. So, I mean, if you're an author, a Comic-Con is definitely a venue you should do. And the literature tracks are a great place for you to kind of get some name recognition out there, because if you're on a panel, you know, talking with other authors on there about different topics, or, you know, that is a great venue. And the good thing about panels is if you haven't had a huge amount of experience talking, you're not alone. Right? There's
Okay.
there's
Can we talk about the dark side of panels though too?
The dark side of panels. What's the dark side?
We have all discussed the dark side of panels too. That anyone who takes your advice, and they should be steeled and ready for the dark side of panels. And that's being on panels with people that think that their voice is the golden thread that everyone must hear at all times. And if that's sitting next to you, or here's the second worst. And by the way, I have suffered that as both a mediator, and the only reason I was picked as a mediator was because I was mean enough to shut those people up and let everyone speak.
Hey, I got picked as one too. We have something in common, Russell.
Right. So, and I have, but the worst possible thing is to be on a panel as an author with a weak mediator and someone and a co-panelist that thinks that their voice is the golden life word.
Yep.
And it's just also is, and so you need to be ready for that. You need to find out who the other panelists are, check on them before you get on the list to make sure that this is going to accomplish your goals. Number one. Number two, be a pleasant experience. And number three, not force a public scene where you kill somebody.
Yeah. Well, and
we don't want you to go into jail. Not today. Not today.
You do have to be assertive. You know, if that happens to you and you're stuck on a panel like that, you have to be assertive and step up and say, and just start talking. You know, if they won't shut up, you need to just start talking, and they will have to shut up. I mean, because they're on a panel. So eventually they, you know, if you start talking and you say you're doing your thing, you know, they will. But also don't forget to bring visuals to your panel. You know, I mean, I'm guilty of this. I often forget to bring my books and put them in front of me, you know, because even if you do have a talker who won't be quiet and you're not able to completely, you know, kind of cut them off every once in a while, you at least are getting your books seen, you know, you've got them out there and seen, and maybe like bring some kind of special discount. Like if they buy your book that day because they came to your panel, maybe you give a special code or something discount, and so they
you
can.
know what I used to do that drove Sandy crazy because she was my PR person back is I just give the books away.
Yeah,
that drove her crazy.
But that's the greatest one because you're going to write more books, right? And it's kind of, if you're writing a series, it's honestly the greatest thing you can do.
My book out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Giveaways are good. But you really need to plan when you give away book one. You know, You give away
Fern's
book
gonna,
one.
by the way, everyone, I assure you, Fern will give my book away when it comes out. See, that's her plan.
Not really. No.
But don't let me get
"No,
you.
I'm not doing
Don't
that."
let me diverge you from the subject. Let's get back to what speakers should do now, or what new speakers or people that
Yeah.
want to be speakers should do now.
Well,
Hey,
I like the
somebody
value though.
Wait, somebody asked if this was a new chair, but it's not a new chair. I've
No.
had a chair for a while now, but it is a very comfy chair. I'm
It's
just saying.
very pretty. I do like
That's
it.
her Star Trek chair. That looks
It's
like
like
a captain's chair from Star Trek.
it does look that way, doesn't it? But it's a gaming chair. That's what it is. I got
Those
me.
are really comfortable chairs. Yeah, they're worth being
No,
bought
that
for.
means that she plays World of Warcraft from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day.
Hey, you can make a lot of money doing that if you're really good. So I'm not hating.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
Yeah, but going back, Russell, to your panel, I think I really like the fact that you were saying like there's a dark side to it. 'Cause there's a dark side to any speaking, but there's pros to it too. So even if you're not like ballsy enough to cut people off and assertive, because you can do it in a polite manner. You don't have to be rude about it when you're cutting people off.
Yeah, but it's so much more fun when you're rude.
I know, Russell. That's just for me and you. We get like a kick out of it. But if you do it that way, even if you don't, you're almost guaranteed to have someone in the audience come up when the panel's over, to come by your table or whatever to talk to you, because maybe they want to hear more of what you have to say. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like a trade-off. And if you're not not even aggressive, because that's the wrong word. But if you can't insert yourself into the conversation, if you need to cut someone off, the panels are the best way to learn, because you'll have to do that 100%.
Exactly.
But you meet some amazing people and amazing connections, which is what you need, is networking. Because if you want to do team and stuff, it's networking.
Talking about the dark side, you do have circumstances where you are doing a presentation. I have had it happen to me where I'm doing a presentation. It does go well with my purple. But where people start getting aggressive with you.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time I was giving a presentation, and it wasn't really even on the topic of, I think it was on like how to decide if you wanted to be indie author or go for a traditional publisher. And this one guy was just virulent about, that there's no need for publishers. Everybody, they're just stealing people's money, blah, 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 blah. And he was really aggressive. And, and I finally had to be really harsh and say, that's your methodology. If you have the personality and the business skills to be indie published and do it yourself, great. Not everybody wants to. Not everybody can. And to say that to go the publishing method with a publisher is the wrong way, is to say that everybody has to do it your way. And
by the way, audience, when Fern you got to push Fern over a cliff to get her harsh.
Right.
She tries to be nice until she goes over a cliff.
She's a big sweetheart.
She's a nice person.
Yeah.
It takes a lot, but I do push back. Because, and I have gotten better about, cutting off, kind of sensing when people are going in that direction and cutting them off a little bit earlier, but you do have to. And I mean, I know I've been in groups where I've been in the audience and I have watched somebody just zero in on the speaker and be a whole, lot of mean to them. And the speaker just doesn't know what to do. But you do have to practice pushing back and shutting them down, because you can't afford to have hecklers.
Okay, let's not stay on the dark side the whole time.
No, there's positive things to it, for sure.
Let me tell you, I spoke at a book club that was at a country club on the west side of town.
I remember that club. That was nice.
And it was the most empowering, encouraging thing, because everyone, they were asking questions. They were excited. They were quite a bit interested in all my old lawyer in the courtroom stories, because that's how I always start my particular speeches. Is I just start telling jokes about courtroom jokes about me in a courtroom, stupid stuff I said, or I made the funny things that happened. One time I was in a voir dire. That's when you bring in a jury panel of 100 people from across the county to pick a jury from, and my neighbor walked in on it. And the lawyer on the other side, who's a good friend of mine now, asked during voir dire, asked my neighbor if they could promise not to prejudice against my client since they know me. I thought that was that was the only funny joke that guy's ever told too. I patted him on the back. The jury was all confused. Why are the lawyers not trying to kill each other? But anyway, it can be so exciting and empowering, and you can inspire so many people. So there is a light side to it, but you just got to be ready for the dark side to make the light side worth it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, and you just brought up a good point. You know, we've talked about Comic-Cons and we've talked about podcasts, but book clubs are also a fantastic venue for authors to get some speaker engagement, you know, and especially because they're book lovers. I mean, if you hook up with a book club and you're presenting on your book with them, they're on your side. They love you. They love authors. Authors are like their number one celebrities, you know. So you're going to, you know, I have not yet had a book club situation in which it was ugly. Book club readers love the authors that come to talk to them, you know. And you're like a little movie star. And so, I mean, you know, that is like probably a great place to start. If you're kind of scared of public speaking, I would start with book clubs because they're going to be so supportive. They're going to make you feel so good. And they, you know, they're going to treat you well. And, you know, and I've never seen one go south, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because we had Kathy Murphy on, which is the Pulpwood Queen. She has a book club, and I think it's called Timber Guys is her guide book club. And she kind of said that is, you know, they select books to read, but if they can get the author to come and talk or even give out, you know, signed copies, it builds that personal relationship. Because I mean, if you're an author, you're clearly a reader, right? So you're your own target market, even if you write a different genre than you read. And so you have to kind of be like, you know, what would I want to hear from an author? What would I want? You know, would I like access to them? You know, don't stalk them. Okay. Don't pull a Sandy and stalk people. Don't do that. But it's like, you know, what kind of thing would you want that you would find interesting? Right. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, let's just say you write health, right? And, you know, you have the COVID going on, you have other health issues and stuff like that, but you can tie in, like Russell did, funny stories to keep it kind of entertaining and lighthearted, where, you know, people feel like they really got something out of it, where it draws them to the back of the room or to your website. If you're doing it virtually, you know, you still have a bookstore or a table in the back. It's just your website, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to draw people there to buy your book because of how you were speaking. So that's where, you know, start with podcasts, because they're not that they're informal, but it's a good starting point. You can really figure out and hone in and talk about you as an author, and you can figure everything out. And then, you know, panels and things like that. I would say either panels or book clubs. That's a good starting point. Panels may be a little bit, might want to wait if you aren't ready to push back on people. Maybe wait a little bit on those. Mm-hmm. But go to where the panels are in the different venues, get a feel for the people there, interact and talk to all the vendors, right? And then, you know, when you get serious about it and you feel like you have a good hone in on it, I guess, then I would consider being a vendor at these tables, asking to be on panels. Mm-hmm. And doing stuff like that. But I mean, yeah.
You know what? Look, one of the things I told one of my authors that, you know, she was very shy. She was really, really shy and not sure how to go about doing this, right? I told her to create a character. Mm-hmm. Create a character, you, the author. It's not you, the person. It's you, author, right? And the author is a character, all right? And then when you go to these events, you are really, you're playing a character, Okay.
Persona, yeah.
You just put on this persona of author, and it's a character. It's not you. It's not you. It's a character, and but it's based on you, right? So I think
I thought you're supposed to do that all the time.
well, I think that's what
That'd be different people all the time. I like it.
I think people who are most successful at public speaking do that. I mean, I think you bring a certain person to it. You create a persona. I mean, that's how I survived teaching in the public school classroom. I mean, I brought Fern, the teacher, to that room every morning when those people walked in, those little people. It was not Fern, me, nice person. It was Fern, the teacher, who they met there. And so I think you have to do that to be successful as an author too. You have to create your persona, and then and because that's what sells. People follow authors, and they you get your little groupies, which is really nice. It's really fun.
The biggest compliment you can give an author is to be a groupie. Really, I mean,
I'm a groupie for Fern because I'm a big fan of Fern. So
Groupies, generally speaking, don't bully the author they like.
But I have a dark side, right?
Right.
I'm in the city.
He's your groupie with the dark side. He brings that in. I love it. No, I would say the question you need to ask yourselves if you're a new author and you really think speaking is what you want to do, right? You need to come to terms with that, because there's, we encounter a lot of authors that are like, yeah, I want to get my book out there. I want to be a bestseller, New York Times, all this stuff. J.K. Rowling, right? Awesome dream. Totally love that dream. Let's be realistic, though, okay? It's totally capable for everybody, but nobody knows you. And the only way people are going to know you is by speaking. And so if you're a really shy person, like Fern was saying, you got to put on that persona, and that really works for everybody. But you have to own it and get in your comfort zone and just be like, people are going to love this, like create a whole new mindset. People are going to love what I have to say. They're going to love my book. This is going to be great. For 3 hours at a Comic-Con or whatever, I'm going to be the most outgoing, loving person that, whatever. I'm happy-go-lucky. I am a big ball of sunshine, right?
Amy, you kind of have a Comic-Con type personality that you put on when you go to those events, don't you?
Yeah. For sure.
It's not the regular Amy. I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, whoa, that's not Amy. That
is regular Amy, though. Amy was in nerd heaven. Amy was in nerd heaven.
And you know what? Yeah. It helps to cosplay. Somebody mentioned, Lady Nafari Edarb, and like she has a whole personality for the kids. That's my personality for my kids' books. And like I've got like some cool little masks that I wear, and outfits that I wear. And, just dressing up in your persona will help, because you're not in your regular self, so dressing up can, picking an outfit, pick a couple of outfits that are you author. And then when you put them on, you sort of are putting on that personality as well. That might also help people if you're extremely shy,
Yeah, you just have to get out there. And by doing panels and podcasting and speaking and going to these events, you're networking and you're growing your reader audience, right, of your books, because more people are finding out about you. But you're growing your author network and community, which will let you know about these other books or even recommend your books, right? And that's the greatest gift that authors, that's the beauty of being an author, is that the author and writing community is the greatest community, in my opinion, because they literally help everybody out. There's no competition. They want everybody to succeed, because at the end of the day, it's all about reading and getting books in readers' hands. And so it's the greatest, community you could really be a part of.
And speaking of communities, you have your Monday night group that is a wonderful group to join and get some training and some opportunities to hear different opinions. What do you have going on tonight?
I do, man. I love it. That was so good. Awesome. I do. So Through the Eyes of Authors has the wonderful guest of Tony Harris speaking tonight. She has networking groups. She has a bunch of books that she has written and become a bestseller. So she's talking about networking.
It's kind of applicable to what we're speaking about today, isn't
It
it?
is. I love it. But she's talking marketing. So you're not going to want to miss tonight, because as an author, you need to market your book. Even if you're a published author, you still have to help your publisher market your book. They can only do so much, right? So you need to learn how to keep your book in front of readers, and even if you have a series. So join us tonight with Tony Harris speaking. I'm super excited about this. I'll be tagging her in. I'll drop the flyer also so you guys can check it out. But you guys, we hope you had a fantastic Easter. We love talking to you guys on Monday mornings. We can't wait to see you all next Monday and bring such excitement to you guys, because we have a ton of fun doing this. But you guys, I hope everyone has a fantastic day and a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.